The Pacific Islands are renowned for their sun-drenched beaches and lush interiors, but there is so much more to them than just physical beauty. Hola! I'm going behind the picture postcard imagery to explore the incredibly diverse nations that lie in the world's greatest ocean. Join me as I meet the people and revel in the cultures of the Pacific. Kiribati is a nation of tiny, low-lying atolls scattered over an ocean area the size of mainland America. There are only 2 international flights a week, so a fire engine clears locals and livestock off the runway before each landing. In fact, Kiribati is so isolated that it has now been dropped from the new edition of Lonely Planet Micronesia. I guess that means it's too lonely for the Lonely Planet. That's pretty lonely. When I told people I was going to Kiribati, there would invariably be an "oh, really?" followed by warnings that the place was squalid and riddled with disease. It didn't really sound like anyone's idea of a Pacific paradise.
All right, well, thank you very much. Yeah, I feel better already. Sunday's a little bit of the tropics, a bit of festivity.
This is Tarawa, the capital, which is ostensibly a series of atolls strung together by causeways.
Well, it is certainly nothing like what I expected it to be like. When you hear that there's a place, a tiny island, with people jammed in the population density of Hong Kong, I kind of expected a lot more, well, jam-packed shantytown. Certainly jam-packed, and it is quite shantytownish, but not exactly as I imagined it would be. I imagine that there would be people crammed cheek to jowl on the tiny bit of island that there is. Hello! There's a lot of young women. Many of them appear to have children.
The country used to be called the Gilbert Islands before independence from Britain in 1979.
Good morning. It's good afternoon.
This island was the site of a massive and very bloody World War II battle, and the remnants of the conflict are still here. On November 20th, 1943, the Americans launched an invasion against the heavily fortified Japanese forces. 76 hours later, over 6,000 men were dead, and the tiny island was under American control. It's almost incomprehensible that so many men paid the ultimate price for a tiny island in the middle of nowhere.
It's an old Japanese bunker currently being used as the best pig pen I've ever seen. Those pigs will be safe no matter what. Look at that cock. Everyone's smiling, smiling, smiling. There's a lot of humanity.
One thing that strikes me is how young the population is. There are kids everywhere. Another thing is how friendly people are. Everyone has a hello, or as they say, Māori.
Māori? Where are you going? Oh, from New Zealand.
But the most striking thing is just how dirty the place is. There's litter piled on top of rubbish, all lying on a bed of trash.
Been on some untidy beaches in my time, but this one is just about the untidiest I think I've ever been on. You're not going to be getting rid of that in a hurry. Could be dangerous. That could be a hazard to children. Yeah, but then, look at the beach.
But in amongst the squalor is the spotlessly clean and tidy world of the Marine Training Centre. Kiribati are legendary seafarers, and today there are around 1,500 of them serving on ships all over the world.
You're right. One up.
That was probably the shortest parade I think I've ever seen. This is the place for me.
Bernie, where are we?
MTC, Marine Training Centre. Probably the place that brings in a huge amount of revenue to Kiribati, because the trainees here go on to container ships and cargo boats, and they send back the revenue to the islands.
Seems like a naval base.
It's maritime life on Kiribati. It's like an island on an island. So the culture here is different from the culture outside. This isn't Polynesian island pace, this is shipboard pace.
Did any of them get thrown out?
Yes, yeah, quite a few do, and they have to obey pretty strict discipline rules here. And if they clock up enough points against some of the rules which are laid down, they're out.
Very difficult to get accepted?
Yep, yeah, and they're very proud. Some of them wrote in the first week about how proud they were to be able to pay something back to their parents.
If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
For me, I'll still be on my island, catching fish and anything. So doing some works, primitive works.
Yeah. And when you finish here, what do you plan to do?
Chief engineer
Oh, chief engineer.
or chief cook.
Oh, chief cook. And what about you? What are you going to be?
I'm just gonna follow wherever the wind may blow.
Wherever the wind may blow. That sounds like a very sailing thing to do. All right, well, take care. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Surprisingly, the school has one of the most sophisticated navigational training simulators on the planet, and someone has kindly allowed me to be a captain. Today, I'm bringing my ship into the Belgian port of Antwerp, because I can.
All right, I'm now doing 10.7 knots, heading into the channel. Do we increase speed in the rain? No. It's just like driving. Those guys, they're cutting me off.
Yeah.
All right, I might get a bit aggressive on it in a second.
Yeah, no problem.
So we've slowed down. Ting, ting. It's a little bit like Gran Turismo, only a lot slower. I think my buddies on the other side have run aground. Have you guys run aground? They've run aground. I forced them off. It's like I've just kind of nudged them out. They tried to take it too wide. Yeah, we are the winner.
We are the winner.
So, you guys making a phone call? Ringing someone? Whoops. Crashed your ship? Thank you.
The other major source of employment for young Kiribati men is on fishing boats, where it seems the work is a lot harder and much less glamorous than being a captain.
Right, so what are we watching here?
This is one of the fishing techniques that we teach at the FTC. It's one of the requirements from the Japanese fishing companies.
You train them here and they'll go and then work on a Japanese boat?
That's right, yes.
And how long will they be on the boat for?
They always have a contract of a year.
A year? Right. That's a really good, sustainable way of catching fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Better than a big net coming in and scooping everything up.
That's right, yeah.
Do you think I could have a go?
What did you get the one?
Oh, I'm getting the light fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Oh, you can give it a bit of fight if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, that is heavy.
Yeah.
So there's my fish.
Yes.
And then I just flick it over my head.
Yeah. Hold it. Okay.
Lost my helmet. And nearly pulled my arm out of my socket. Hauled my fish in. Feel the weight.
Okay, hold it. That's it.
Look at that. What a great way to catch fish. And the best thing about this is you're guaranteed to catch something. Hey. Today I've set myself the rather arduous task of climbing from sea level to the highest point in Kiribati. Got my water, my sensible walking shoes. Here I go. Here we go. 3 meters. I think I'm starting to feel the effects of the altitude, although that might just be dehydration. What I do know, though, is if I'd waited till high tide, it might have been considerably easier.
It's an understatement to say that Kiribati is extremely vulnerable to a tsunami or climate change. Even a small sea rise and the country could completely disappear, which explains why the president, Anote Tong, is out planting mangroves to try to stop soil erosion.
Earlier, we were cutting mangroves because we didn't quite fully understand their role in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
But now there is this growing awareness, and so this is being done.
It's almost a little bit like Atlantis, isn't it?
I've looked at the idea of a floating island, And it's virtually that. It's almost science fiction.
Yeah.
And
How would you create a floating island?
it has to be built. It's cost $1 billion.
Yeah. You've had it costed?
Yes.
Crikey.
I mean, the Japanese are looking at this.
Yeah.
And it's $1 billion to accommodate something like 30,000 people.
Right.
But I think we have to also to consider the real option of maintaining the country of Kiribati.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the hard choices we have to consider.
Because I guess, you know, people see a lot of aid and stuff coming here, like huge amounts of money, and then they think, oh, you know, what's the point if it's going to go underwater anyway?
That's exactly the question that has been raised. But I don't think the answer is that. I think just because you're going to die one day doesn't mean you commit suicide.
That's a great sort of Kiribatian kind of thing, isn't it?
That is the reality.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Because
all...
you've lived out here on these little islands in the middle of nowhere for thousands of years. And not only that, but you've survived out here and everyone's still smiling.
Lots of people fall down here, so be careful. Wow, he's smart.
Yeah, well, I've got all the agility of a sort of a slightly lame goat. This is a good-looking boat, eh?
Yeah.
Claire is a climate change awareness teacher, and I'm joining her for an hour-and-a-half jaunt across the water to one of the outer islands.
We're going to North Tarawa, and there's a village up there called Nodowe. And at Nodowe, at the end of Nodowe, there's a school belonging to the Catholic.
Ah.
And the school name is Immaculate Art College.
Delightful. And there's a welcome. I love welcomes.
Maori.
Maori.
Welcome to IAC, Taborio.
These kids all live here at the school. But unlike a Western boarding school, the children do all of the cleaning, washing and cooking, as well as their studies.
Look at that, they've got the Wimby Falls. That's my favourite exercise book.
You do have to wonder how these kids get their clothes so clean in a place not renowned, shall we say, for its cleanliness.
Is that guy sleeping? What is it? What's his job? Official sleeper?
The watchman.
The watchman? He's doing not very... He's watching his eyelids.
Respective guests, we are very proud to welcome you to our school, Taborio.
The beauty of these children's voices is gobsmacking. I've never really heard anything quite like this from kids. It's an incredible, powerful sound. I'm not ashamed to say it moved me to tears.
I think my eyes are sweating. Hey. Sweaty eyes. It's the heat. What do people in Kiribati think about climate change? What do they know?
In our days, people are more aware of it because of the radio announcements and that the president talk about it. We can't do much about it, but we have to understand and able to adapt. And so I encourage the kids to study hard because maybe if we are one day relocate to another country, we don't want to move as refugees. We want to move as Kiribati people, and we are able to contribute to the country we're going to.
Everywhere you look are reminders of how low-lying these islands are and how very vulnerable Kiribati is to something completely out of their control, like climate change.
So if sea level rise goes as predicted, in the very near future, this is what Kiribati could look like. How you doing, Claire?
Not so good.
This appears to be the main door of the prison, and it is currently ajar. I don't think there's been a security breach. I think they just leave it open during the course of the day. Because if anyone escapes, where are they going to go? It's a tiny island. But I do feel as if I should just close it. But I won't, because someone might be locked out. Can't have that.
And that someone might be someone like these lady prisoners who've just finished a game of volleyball outside the prison.
You take it inside so that someone doesn't steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how are
That's 007, James Bond. All right. Well, there's the... I probably have to leave you here. We'll see you later on.
Okay.
Have a nice week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
This part of South Tarawa has seen massive population growth as people come from outlying islands looking for work. Unfortunately, with an unemployment rate of 80%, there are virtually no jobs here either. But still, they keep coming.
All of these people here, mostly squatters?
Yeah, pretty much from first set of houses right back to the beaches are all squatters. So around probably 6,000 people living in this area. You can see that they're living very close to all their animals, pigs.
Yeah. Just a sort of crammed in humanity.
Yeah, it is. It's a seething mass. Pretty much what you're seeing here is exactly the same all the way along. Every bad thing that you can think of is in there.
They'll fill this up and then they'll put a bit of a wall around it and
someone will move in here and then more people will come here, you know?
And what people probably can't get at home is the aroma.
Yes, it's quite overpowering, isn't it, really? How are you coping?
Oh, actually not too bad.
That's good.
Yeah, I've lived in squalor over the years.
I have.
Just a student.
Yeah. Oh, no. You didn't go to Otago, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
The aroma is made even richer as the beach also serves as a toilet.
Get a bit frustrating at times?
Oh, definitely. You know, you're all fired up, plenty of energy, and then you know, the reality of things and all the impediments to actually making progress really kind of hit home. And then you come around, you know. We've made some progress. We've made some solid progress over the last, especially over the last 12 months.
What kind of progress?
We've implemented water catchment systems. We had Engineers Without Borders come up. Really great guy, and he did all the technical work around working out the...
Engineers Without Borders?
Yeah.
Like Doctors Without Borders,
exactly.
But they're engineers?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's good New Zealand...
That's good New Zealand aid money.
And those there.
Those tanks, I'd go and kick those, but there's a fence. Oh no, it's got a gate. It's totally full.
Yeah, they're all full. You can actually see there's water coming out of the top of those.
Is that a good or a bad thing? It's good, I suppose, because you know.
Yeah, it's good, but I would say then we need more capacity, so we're going to have to put in another couple of bigger tanks in here.
That's capacity building at its most basic, isn't it? It's actual capacity. As a taxpayer, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
It's a lovely day for a bit of scooting. Today I'm going to scoot around and see my friend Tony. He's been coming here for about 30 years. Hello, boys. The great thing about Tony, he lives slightly off the beaten track. Oh, flurry water.
Tony's an academic from Wellington. His place in Kiribati is a mere 30-minute scoot from the overcrowding and pollution of South Tarawa. Oh, and a boat ride, or a short walk for those who can't afford the fare.
Hey, Tony.
Hi, Rita.
Lovely bit of paradise you've got here.
Absolutely.
Great sort of stroll across, didn't even wet my gusset.
That's lucky.
Oh, God, it's just absolutely something out of a magazine, isn't it?
It is.
Nice travel magazine. What keeps you coming back?
New points of interest. If anybody had said that I'd be looking into people's graves 30-odd years ago, I would have laughed, but that's exactly what I'm doing this time. This culture has a strong relation to its ancestors. You'll see that the graves are predominantly built in family land directly in front of the house. But then what I've also found is that the bones are never very far away from many of the families. I was interviewing a guy the last time I was here, and he said, "Would you like to see my father's bones?" And so I said, "Yeah, of course I would." And I thought, right, okay, we're off to the cemetery. But no, we go upstairs in a little 2-story house. And then he reaches under the bed, pulls out an old leather suitcase, takes out this pile of cloth, which turns out to be his father's clothes, spreads it out on the bed, and there unfolds his father's full skeleton. But the real nice end to the story is, of course, that the guy turns around after a little bit and says, "When I've had a few drinks sometimes, I come back home and I take out this big bone and the skull and I sit down and have a real good talk to my dad."
You imagine you have your parents' skull there? I always get a bit sort of paranoid that they're watching me.
But
disappointed.
Not that far from ashes.
Not that far from ashes.
Your
No.
cremation, though.
Yeah.
Of course, the walk back is a bit more challenging now that the tide has come in. Woohoo! I've made it. Kiribati certainly makes you reassess what it is you need to be truly happy. I can honestly say I've seen so many people here who are so very joyful, and they're people who have absolutely nothing. And despite all of the problems this country faces, no one really seems to want to leave. Although, if Kiribati is covered by the sea, they might not have any choice.
Look at that. Imagine coming across people armed with shark's tooth swords and shark's tooth knuckle dusters and these beautifully woven bits of armour.
It is fit.
No, I don't think it's going to fit. I think my head's too big, and the problem is if I get it on, I might not then get it off again, and I'll be stuck in this for the rest of my trip to Kiribati, and people might take offence. They might think, well, he's come to wage war with us.
This program was made with the help of New Zealand On Air. The Pacific Islands are renowned for their sun-drenched beaches and lush interiors, but there is so much more to them than just physical beauty.
Hola!
I'm going behind the picture postcard imagery to explore the incredibly diverse nations that lie in the world's greatest ocean. Join me as I meet the people and revel in the cultures of the Pacific.
Good to arrive at an airport with people singing. New Zealand should do this.
For me, Fiji conjures up images of white sandy beaches, smiling locals, rugby and military coups. I get the sense from watching the news there may well be soldiers and checkpoints everywhere, and that this will be accompanied by a general feeling of unease. But I imagine that amongst this there'll also be a sea of tourists happily holidaying in resorts. I'm not in Fiji for a holiday. I'm here to explore a rather different side of the country, one that a tourist might not normally see.
Ollie, Marty, how are you?
No.
How's your afternoon?
Okay.
It's okay.
Good.
It's good.
There have been people living in the Fijian Islands for around 3,500 years. Early European visitors called Fiji the Cannibal Islands, a name which served to make them oddly enticing to people who arrived to settle and occasionally became supper. One of the biggest changes to the population came when Indian labourers were shipped over in the 1880s to work on sugar plantations established by British colonists. Sugar remains one of Fiji's largest earners, but despite the revenue, they are still cutting sugarcane the way they always have.
I've never felt more like a colonial overseer in my entire life. How ridiculously pompous do I look? I am the epitome of former colonialism in the sugar industry. Chop, chop. Do you think I could have a go?
Yeah.
All right.
Clean it first.
Clean it first. Chop it. That's it there. Do you think I'm going to make a very good sugarcane cutter?
I think so.
Yeah, you're wonderfully optimistic. So we don't need any of that stuff? Oh, do we? Is that the good bit? Oh, shit. All right. No one's lost any fingers, no one's lost any toes, just some teeth.
Yeah, that's cute.
There it is. That's the danger of sugarcane.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Happy cutting. And they'll keep doing that for 9 hours a day, every day, for weeks on end. Every day, 9 hours a day. That is a bloody hard way to make a living.
And for a week's work, they'll earn the equivalent of $80 US. One of the highlights of the sugar industry are the trains. All are virtually antiques.
Do you get a lot of train lovers from all over the world coming and looking at the train? Yeah. Can I get to sit there? Yeah. All right. Lushy, eat your heart out. Driving a sugarcane train. Thank you again.
Thank you.
As well as sugarcane, the other significant thing that Europeans brought to Fiji was the sweet love of Jesus. But it wasn't just the missionaries' words that whetted local appetites.
This little bit of shoe leather in here is all that remains of a missionary by the name of Thomas Baker. He caused offence to a village in the mountains and they decided that they would have him for dinner. He must have been fairly scrawny, Thomas Baker, because when they finished eating him, they even tried to eat his shoes, but they proved to be a little tougher than the missionary and they survived. The irony of the entire thing really is that Thomas Baker was here to save souls, and all that was saved were his souls. The village that did it have apologised several times and promised not to do anything like this again, which is reassuring because I'm off there for lunch.
The village I'm going to is somewhat off the beaten track in the highlands of Fiji. So I'm going to need a guide to help me find it and to translate.
Hola, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
Good. Very good. So whereabouts are we going? Up into...
We're going up to Nambuto Tau.
Yep.
There.
And have you ever been there before? Never? First time for you too?
Yep. Just like you.
Just like me.
It's going to be very interesting.
It's quite beautiful up here, isn't it?
I think so.
Where are we?
Don't even know.
Somewhere in Fiji.
Somewhere in Fiji.
Despite the relatively small size of Fiji, the highlands are very remote. The roads are rough, there aren't a lot of signposts, and it's easy to feel like you're the first European to visit. After a mere 4 hours driving, we arrive at the village of Nambuto. Any welcome for a guest to a Fijian village begins not with a cup of tea, but with the traditional kava ceremony. I'd been a little bit worried about this murky elixir, but it is surprisingly delightful and a wonderful conduit to chat. I wonder if Thomas Baker had enjoyed a bowl or two.
So this is the original thing that killed Thomas Baker. There are a lot of stories about Thomas Baker.
Yeah.
A lot of misconception of what happened at that time. The only reason why Thomas Baker was killed because he took a comb from his great-great-grandfather. In Fiji, you're not allowed to touch the chief's head. That's just not...
So he broke a protocol, yeah, for which there's only one punishment.
Death.
Yeah.
They say that the flesh of Thomas Baker was distributed to other chiefs across these mountains.
Was that a traditional thing to do?
Because they say that the white man's flesh tastes better, so they want the other chiefs to taste it too.
Ah.
And
yeah.
Thomas Baker was
the white man.
Yeah. Skin.
Yeah. Because we're a little bit. It's because we're a little bit softer. We're not all muscle like you. Look, back thigh. In some ways, Thomas Baker's bad luck was my good luck. For without him, I may not have found this wonderful piece of paradise. Perhaps the most astonishing thing is the warmth of the Fijian welcome. It's not simply a contrivance for tourism ads, they genuinely are one of the most welcoming people I've ever met. Everywhere I go, I'm greeted with a cherry bulla and a face full of a smile. Despite being in Fiji, I feel as if I'm following in the footsteps of Sir Edmund Hillary. This is Josk's thumb. During the war, Hillary made 2 attempts to climb it, neither of which were successful. What is nice, though, is that both Hillary and Josk's thumb both appear on money. There's Hillary on the 5 and there's Josk's thumb on the Fijian 10. And if you put them together like that, it's like he's staring off wistfully at it, thinking about what it might be like to get to the summit. I'm never going to know what that's like because, seeing as he failed, I'm not even going to bother trying. Of course, Hillary being Hillary, he came back after the war and knocked the bugger off. Yep, this morning. Yeah. Sugarcane with the sugarcane cutters. Yeah, amazing. They have a hard job. It's strange to be the only white face in the supermarket. I can't help but wonder, where are the tourists? Perhaps there's something nobody told me. Or maybe it's simply that nobody told the tourists about it. All of it looks so damn healthy.
I know, it is. And it is.
This is Janie King-Lilo, cafe owner and chef to the rich and famous who visit Fiji. Most resorts import all their fresh food from New Zealand or Australia, but Janie is a passionate advocate for local produce.
This is your typical Fiji tomato.
Small but perfectly formed.
Smell them. They're beautiful, but the tourists aren't eating this because it's not big and red and shiny.
Right, they want the things that they're used to at home. You know, does it strike you as odd that people come here and they don't want to eat local food?
I just don't get it. Why would you travel to an exotic land and not have the full experience? Andra, can I have some water? Isn't it gorgeous?
Isn't it? What is it?
Fiddle fern.
Fiddle fern?
It looks prehistoric, eh?
It does. How many vegetables that you look at and you go, that vegetable's got charisma? That is one of them.
Sexy.
It is.
It looks lovely on a plate.
Tell me about that market.
See, to me, that is the heart of Suva. I'm there 6 days a week, you know, talking to people, having people grow stuff for us. I mean, that's what it's about. That's what food is about, isn't it? I mean, you saw the fruit. It's an ugly beautiful. We have misshaped tomatoes, and the chilies are not all the same size, and the capsicums are a bit funny-duddy, but that's Fiji. That's, you know, that's like what we are. The people are like that, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're full of flavour.
Yeah, like the people.
Because that's what people do miss out on, isn't it?
They do.
They come to the resorts and they don't get any of that. It's not on the menus.
Ah, here's the otter.
Look at that.
Yeah, this is the fiddle fern that you and I saw in the market, the one we bought.
Yep. That just screams
look at that, look
good
at that.
health,
yeah,
doesn't
and
it?
just look how green it is. And all we've done with this is just blanched it. We recently travelled.
Excuse my manners. Sorry.
Well, there's really... And you people came here to civilise us.
Well, now you probably thought I was quite sophisticated. Put a plate of fiddle fern in front of me and something like
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Mm. You know, so why aren't the hotels serving this? It goes wild, Breda.
Why aren't they serving this?
I'm gonna go, if I stay at a nice hotel and they've got one of those little forms that says anything you think, I'm
Yeah,
gonna say,
not enough
fiddle
local
fern,
food.
more local food, please.
For all of my trepidation, I haven't seen any military checkpoints or even a single soldier on my travels so far. Well, except for these ones, and they're not really soldiers. They're high school students graduating from their military training. One of Fiji's most valuable natural resources are its soldiers, and they're a big export earner for the country. Thousands of Fijians have served on UN peacekeeping missions in places like Lebanon, Sinai, and Kosovo. And there are also around 2,000 Fijian soldiers currently serving in the British Army. The village of Vanuadina is known locally as the Warrior Village. Right now, there are 10 men from the village serving overseas in combat zones.
Why do you think so many men from this village join the army?
Mostly, people want to see the world. And that is something that motivates our feeling, that each and everyone wants to experience. So we join the army. It's what drives us.
Yeah. You had a year in Iraq?
Mm-mm.
And then you wanted to go back?
We say, if we are lucky, we have to go back. If a company picks my name, I'll go back.
He left here, went to England, trained, and then went to Afghanistan.
But not all of those who go come back, and in the last year alone, 2 young men from this small village have lost their lives.
And you think one day you might want to join the army one day?
Yes.
Yeah. And for all the young kids here who are going to go off and join the army, do you think people want them to? You think when Joseph and people like that don't come back, does the village sit down and think, oh, should we continue to send people away?
The elders, they don't send us, they choose to go. We are proud of them.
Mm.
And if they are lucky, they'll return. There may be holes, there may be some losses, but it's just for a few moments, few days, few months, few years. Things will fade away. That's part of our life. Yeah.
Do you think Fijians make good peacekeepers because they've got such great smiles?
That's what the other people say.
Yeah?
That is how we live. We sing in the village, we sing in town, we sing everywhere. We sing in the battlefield. Because that's what is something that is built into our life. Sing and smile. That's how life goes on.
You kind of imagine, that somewhere in the world at this exact moment there is a group of Fijians in a uniform on some firebase, singing Fijian songs and drinking kava. And it's terrible to think that, some of them won't come home, but it's part of their tradition. It's part of who they are. There's a pride in it. In some ways, it's the family business. Bula, Leroy.
Hey, Bula, Rita.
Welcome aboard. Thank you. We're going to stare at some fish.
I've often wondered what it would feel like to be face to face with a shark. I could view them safely in an aquarium, but I'd rather see one in the wild, protected only by a thin layer of rubber.
This is about the most complicated outfit I've ever put on. It's got an incredibly long zip, and I have a lot of hair that I'm worried about getting caught. But there we go. Well, it's not just hair, actually. Underwater, no one can actually hear you yell for help, or if something's behind you, all they hear is, behind you. What? No one's been nibbled?
No.
The only time people get bitten by sharks, there's only been 2 or 3 over the last 10 years or so. It's mainly through just clumsiness, playing with meat in the water, things you don't do in the ocean.
Yeah. You know, you wouldn't really want to be doing that.
No.
What changes have you seen?
As the years go by, a lot of things contribute to the reef getting worse conditions.
Like?
Well, there's a major global warming one, but then we've got other things like deforestation, where all the water just runs down after rains, and basically coral and marine life don't like soil in the water.
Right.
So all those things contribute to the reef standards being worse, going worse and worse.
It was a lot more relaxing, I think, than I'd imagined.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that, I don't know, for some reason I thought it would be oddly sort of terrifying. You know, when you tell people, I'm going to go swimming with sharks, generally the response is, I don't think that's a very good idea.
Yes, a lot of people have the fear of being in the ocean with sharks, and basically after a dive like this one, you have a total new approach to sharks in the ocean.
That is the best aquarium I've ever had the pleasure of swimming in. What's the best thing about it, you know? What makes you go back down there again and again and again and again and again?
I like taking people on a new experience, basically. Expression on their face after each dive is priceless.
The dangers in Fiji aren't just in the water. Democracy has frequently been savaged by military coups.
When the country is ready for elections, the machinery is running well and ready to take on this very important task.
The latest army takeover came in 2006 when Commodore Frank Bainimarama seized power.
It's gonna come back.
Oh, look at that.
Like that?
Just what the doctor ordered.
That's right.
Today I'm caddying for the man who kicked it all off. Sitiveni Rabuka led the first coup in 1987 and was later elected Prime Minister.
Yesterday's action by the Royal Fiji Military Forces was accomplished without a single shot being fired.
The man who's standing here on the golf course today, when he looks back at that younger military officer who had a coup in 1987, what does he think of him?
Now, as I look back, I hope we might have found a better way of doing it.
Take a lot of organising, a coup, a lot of sleepless nights beforehand?
Yes. Before, but after, you have a lot of sleepless nights wondering whether people are getting hurt unnecessarily.
The target is 1 width of your left boot.
I imagine for somewhere like Fiji, democracy is an interesting kind of concept.
Sometimes the chiefs like democracy, other times the people like democracy. So we're still trying to work out our way to get to an ideal situation.
Look at that. Eh? that's basically in.
Eventually, people will have to accept that we are living in a world and demographics that continue to evolve.
What is that?
That's the range. Don't worry. They're firing their way, not this way.
It's good. That's a rifle range.
Rifle range, a military rifle range, yeah.
It's oddly reassuring.
They're firing out that way.
Yeah, good. What do you think the future is for Fiji?
We're all hoping that eventually we will get to racial understanding.
Bravo.
Although we say that 87 brought out the sharp divide between the Indo-Fijians and the Fijians, it also made us accept the fact that we will continue to be a multiracial society, but then we had to understand the intricacies of the two races, trying to bring them together. 100 meters, Reda, what do you think?
Well, if it was me, I'd probably need to go for a driver, but a fit young guy like you, I'm going to give you a 9.
Okay.
Have you mellowed a bit?
Have I?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you might have done.
You know, the greatest mellowing factor in life is age. You are thinking about the world that your children and grandchildren will live in.
Excellent round. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't expect Rabuka to be so charming, so Shakespeareanly charismatic. But I guess you need a bit of charisma to lead a coup or be Prime Minister and actually have people follow you. In my time here, I haven't seen any overt signs of the military regime. And while people loved talking about politics, they wouldn't do it in public, and certainly not on camera. I feel that there's a distinct uneasiness here that's in stark contrast to the friendliness of the Fijian people. I love the way the Fijians say bula to each other, even to strangers. Bula, and the ice is broken. You start a conversation. Where are you from? I'm from New Zealand. Oh, my brother lives there. Or more likely, oh, well, what do you think about the Crusaders backline? They are just so friendly.
I'm currently wallowing in one of the greatest feats of cultural diplomacy ever instigated by a New Zealand government. This is a kiwi-shaped pool built by the Kirk government at the New Zealand High Commissioner's residence in Suva. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, and we own it.
This program was made with the help of New Zealand On Air. The Pacific Islands are renowned for their sun-drenched beaches and lush interiors, but there is so much more to them than just physical beauty.
Hola!
I'm going behind the picture postcard imagery to explore the incredibly diverse nations that lie in the world's greatest ocean. Join me as I meet the people and revel in the cultures of the Pacific. Known as the Friendly Islands, the ancient kingdom of Tonga proudly stands alone as the only Pacific nation never to have been conquered by a colonial power. Thus, the Tongan royal family ruled with absolute power until the first democratic election in 2010. My first stop is in the north, at an island group known as Vavau.
Lovely piece here with the depiction of the arrival of Mormons with their bedrolls and their little name badges.
That'd be elder someone and elder someone else.
So they've just arrived off a canoe. It's called the Rescue. Kingdom of Tonga, the Rescue. And I imagine that for a lot of people that would be a wonderful piece to take home, but it's not quite what I'm after.
What I'm after is a close encounter of the aquatic kind. Vavau is one of only 2 places in the world where you can legally swim with whales.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
As luck would have it, my taxi driver happens to be an ex-whaler.
So how long did you spend hunting whales?
5 years.
Yeah. Was it a family thing? Did your father hunt whales?
Yeah, my father did do that before.
The late Tongan king, Tupua IV, banned whaling in 1978. That's the great thing about being an absolute monarch. Just like that, no more whaling.
Did people want to stop, or did they want to keep going?
They want to keep going.
Yeah.
The people, they need to spare the whale, to killing the whale, because for his food.
Yeah.
We need the whale for the food.
Yeah. And now, like, people come and they shoot the whale with cameras.
Yeah.
Not with spears. Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Good.
Humpback whales swim 8,000 kilometres from Antarctica to Tonga every year for some R&R. That's relaxation and reproduction.
What's the sustainability of it? You know, the whales get annoyed with people jumping in and swimming around?
Well, yeah, definitely they can. What we strive for really is a mutual interaction. So basically they want to see us as much as we want to see them.
Must be difficult, I guess, you know, if you've got a boat full of tourists and they've all paid good money and there's a bit of pressure on.
We're out there to look after the people, but predominantly we are out there to look after the whales, because without whales we don't have any people that want to come. So, and it doesn't really work the other way. There's a blow just over there.
Oh, right, yeah. I didn't say there she blows. Okay.
And suddenly, there before me are two denizens of the deep. Well, one and a half. Look at that, mother and child.
Magical. There they are. They'll swim from here all the way back down to Antarctica. Turn around and come and do it all over again. It is a great migratory route. You know, I'm no Jacques Cousteau, that's for sure. And I think that's one of the great whale experiences. That certainly beats sitting on a boat and watching one sleep.
Dave is dropping me off on one of the many tiny isles that surround the main island in Vavau.
Did you get us on stage?
Today is Sunday, and Sunday remains sacred in Tonga as a day for nothing more than church and rest. While Europeans never conquered the Tongans' land, the missionaries certainly captured their hearts and minds. The Sabbath is so sacrosanct here that business and entertainment are strictly forbidden. There's something delightfully relaxing and quaint about a Sunday in Tonga. I come from a country where we get annoyed if shops are closed for half a day on a public holiday, let alone Sundays. So it's nice to see families meeting, guys sitting on a wall having a chat and kids playing happily. Of course, someone's always got to ruin it.
I do quite like a garden, and somewhere around here there is Botanical Gardens of Tonga. The whole place in many ways is a lot like a botanical garden for someone like me. Lush, tropical, but somewhere in here there is a paradise within a paradise. Maloelele and Natalie.
Maloelele.
What a beautiful place. How did it all start?
Well, I started planting in 1972, but I got my property when I was 8. What you see here, it's done in the Polynesian way, the Tongan way of planting, not in rows.
No.
Planting in rows is a Western idea, but in the Polynesian way, in the Tongan way, you plant where you feel like planting.
Yep, like nature.
For me, it's a kind of a vision I had always in my mind.
Hanatali has cultivated nearly 550 plant varieties, including several endangered plant species that he's helped save from extinction.
Did people think that you were crazy?
My sisters, brothers, and the village people, they came and said, hey, don't be stupid. What are you doing? Don't waste time. But when it opened, they came in here, they got the shock of their life.
Yeah.
They didn't realize that whenever I disappear, I'm here, I bring plants and propagate. I still have land here that need to plant.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't bring my spade. What a great legacy. How many people at 8 years old are given a piece of land and even at that early age think to themselves, I'm going to do something special with that land. I'm going to turn it into something a little bit magical. And the thing I like the most is people who do that and everyone else thinks they're mad. For years, they're mad. What's he doing? He's crazy. And then all of a sudden, all is revealed and people go, good. We knew all along that he was going to do something. I love places like that. I love people who just have an idea and they see it through.
One of the few business opportunities on the Tongan island of Vavau was the commercial harvesting of sea cucumbers. These strange, elongated animals are found on the sea floor, and at low tide, they're easy pickings for the non-squeamish.
It's got a long way out there, wasn't it? Do Tongan people eat them?
Yeah.
Amazing how they actually do look like a cucumber.
But here, something, a stomach, that one we eat.
Oh, you eat?
We take it out, that one, we eat that one.
Is it good?
That's good, just only white.
So, bit of,
Oh, died.
What? No, I'm poisoned. That's been poisoned. That's quite tasty.
Yeah.
Just like, tastes like sort of slightly congealed salt water.
Yeah.
Well, I never.
The Asian demand for these sea cucumbers has led to the growth of a large and controversial industry in Vavau. Olivia makes a daily trip to sell her haul to one of the many processing plants.
There's a lot of sea cucumbers.
The people from my village collect every day.
Yeah.
Because of the way they filter seawater, sea cucumbers are described as the vacuum cleaners of the ocean. You do have to wonder what taking them on this mass scale is doing to Vavau's marine environment. After the sea cucumbers are boiled, they're dried out on these huge racks.
All right. That smells quite good, eh?
Rather oddly, no one could tell me exactly what the Asians use dried sea cucumbers for, but the general suspicion was that they eat them.
How much for that one?
15.
$15 for one?
One.
Wow.
When the average weekly income here is around 70 Tongan dollars, you can see why collecting sea cucumbers is so popular for people with limited options. "240 kilometres south of Vavau is Tongatapu, the largest and most populated island in Tonga. Kings and queens have ruled over Tonga for more than 1,000 years.
Malawalele.
Today, I've put on my fancy pants as I have an appointment with a real-life Pacific princess.
When Cook arrived here, you know, he called it the Friendly Islands. He said, you know, he was amazed at all these people flocking down to greet them, and he said they didn't even have a stick in their hands or anything like that. It was this welcome.
I think that all just came down to good timing, really. By chance, we were in a good mood.
I suppose it must be good though, you know, there's probably no paparazzi here. Or is there? Is there people lurking around, you know, like you see the English royals?
Yes, I'd say it was more of our version of paparazzi, where you don't catch someone and then you take a picture. It's catch someone and then you tell someone else.
Tell their mum.
And word gets around. So that's our version of paparazzi here in Tonga.
Right. How far away would you be from becoming the Queen? Where are you in the line?
I'm 9th or 10th in line to the throne.
If you were like that person, if you were the 2nd or 3rd, you might sort of be thinking, oh, I hope nothing happens to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you really wanted to become, you know, because you always see there's always a dastardly one somewhere, isn't there?
As with the British royalty, there have been a few changes in lineage along the way. The current family has ruled since 1845, and although Tonga came under British protection in 1900, it never gave up royal rule.
By any standards, he's a progressive thinker. The king realizes what Tonga lacks and has accepted aid to modernize his kingdom. It's a magnificent dream. It's coming true, almost miraculously, considering the background of tradition which flows so strongly through the lives of the king and his people.
Are you quite good at waving? I've done a few AMP and Christmas parades.
Well,
I've had to sort of just do that.
All right, well, to everyone, we just do the...
Oh.
The little nod.
You never know quite what you're going to end up discussing with royalty.
Not far from the royal residence is an elaborate and expensive-looking graveyard where recent monarchs are buried.
I've always wanted a life-size statue of myself erected above my grave when I die, and everyone says it's ridiculous, it's ludicrous. It's not. Look at that. What would you wear? Because you're going to be immortalised forever, so you've got to think about that. I'm not entirely sure what the lion with the ball represents, but I like it. All right, uh-oh. I've ruined the game. Ruined the ball game.
While promenading through Tonga High School, I happen upon a couple of young New Zealanders here to teach science. This has been organised by a trust called EcoCare, who also offer a scholarship to one of these Tongan students to study in New Zealand.
And were you surprised at, you know, at the school? Was it what you expected?
Lack of resources is the main thing that I've noticed, especially coming from New Zealand. We were just talking to the chemistry teacher and she's got 90 students and not a single full equipment to run a chemistry lab. And majority of these students are going to go to Pacific University not knowing how to do any laboratory work.
It does make me wonder if some of the $4 million spent on the new king's coronation mightn't have been better spent right here.
This is essentially the best high school in Tonga.
Yeah.
For sure.
They definitely get the most scholarships and they're pretty brainy.
Yeah. So what are you teaching them? It looked all pretty complicated. I was sitting there going, oh, I could understand what an average was, a mean, but then after that I was pretty lost.
Well, as part of the scholarship, they have to carry out a statistical analysis.
Yeah, that involves testing the mean, the average, the standard deviation, standard error.
My eyes are starting to glaze over with the complexity of that.
Standard error is the dispersion of...
Despite their lack of resources, many of these students are absolutely determined to study at overseas universities.
From the true but unknown population mean, because we never know...
A lot of them like to be able to go study and then come back and give back to their community. Because it's such a very family-orientated country.
This is without a doubt one of the most phenomenal natural phenomenon I've ever had the pleasure of witnessing. Who knew this was here? Obviously, other than the people who built this platform and put all the signs along the road that indicated that this was the place to come and look at the blowholes. And they're all the way up the coast. The sea, thundering in, smashing, the wonderful noise like the farting of a whale. Not enough whales do that, but you know, magic. This is magic. And I'm here totally by myself, which in many ways says a lot about me and my aloneness.
I'm just having a quiet stroll around the fish market looking for some lunch when I stumble upon this creature.
Yeah. How much for the turtle?
500.
500? That seems a little bit much. 350? No? Odd kind of ethical dilemma.
Hello. Do I buy the turtle in order to save it? I have no idea how much a turtle is worth, and I'm worried that if I pay too much, I might be driving up the price of turtles, causing more to be caught.
Right. Well, that's pulling the heartstrings, isn't it? Watching the turtle mooch around for the sake of a couple of $100.
Watching the poor old turtle being dragged around is a bit too much for me, so I insist the crew give me some extra money so I can buy the turtle.
He's going to take... There you go, buddy. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. So it's 400 for a turtle. Good day for them, better day for the turtle. All right, thank you. I was not anticipating having a turtle in my van today. I just came along to get some lunch, and I've ended up with the most expensive animal I think I've ever purchased short of a cow. And the cameraman just had his head on the van. But I'll forgive him that lapse in concentration because he just gave me $50 in order to help me buy the turtle. So I'm now the proud owner of a turtle, which is excellent news. Only problem is I'm not entirely sure how to cook it. I'm joking.
I'm trundling off with my turtle to see Joe and Lavini Kupu, who are long-time turtle rescuers.
Hi, Joe.
Hi!
Joe, I've done a thing.
What kind of thing?
I'm not sure if it was a good idea, but I was at the markets this morning.
Were you?
And I didn't know whether or not...
Oh, my goodness!
I don't know what the going price was, and I'm not sure whether I've driven the market price up.
How much did you pay for it?
How much should I have paid?
Probably about 50.
50?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't pay 50.
You paid a lot more than that.
Yeah.
You did. Man, what a beautiful turtle. Hey, little man, you're a big guy, aren't you?
should we do with it now?
We're going to have to release this one quite quickly.
Yep.
Because he's distressed.
Yeah.
While Joe and Lavini try and organise a boat to liberate my new purchase, I'm heading into Nuku'alofa, the Tongan capital. The first thing I notice is that they seem to have embarked upon a massive building program. Which sounds great until you learn that Nuku'alofa lost nearly every major building in a 2006 riot, which also left 8 people dead.
You can imagine that within a half an hour, this whole section, up to a mile this way, was on fire. Smoke, everything going, so.
Must have been quite something to see.
It was something to see.
Yeah.
And if there were any cars on the road too, cars were also torched. The looting that was going on was just huge. I mean, there were people from all around Nuku'alofa and from the outside villages that were driving in pickup trucks, and they were looting everything they could put on, refrigerators, TVs.
Just anarchy.
It was anarchy. And the ironic thing is this town, Nuku'alofa, the name Nuku'alofa is called Town of Love.
Not a lot of love that day.
Not a lot of love. The riots were based on the call for reform. And yet, there was already approval for reform coming from the monarchy.
The new king did institute reforms, and in 2010, Tonga had its very first democratic elections. Bravo!
What's happened since then?
Tonga changed socially? No, it's still the same Tonga. I think a lot of people were putting the expectation that once we've got reform, once we've got a democracy, we're going to be prosperous the next day. You know?
Doesn't happen overnight.
Doesn't happen overnight.
I'm having a little bit of trouble reconciling the vision of this building with what it's probably going to look like when it's finished. When it's done, apparently, everyone in Tonga is going to be driving late model Audis and Volkswagens. And when I look around, that does not appear to be the case currently. So whoever has designed this picture to use it to promote this building, I'd like to live in the world they live in. I was just,
Look at him, he wants to go.
Never been spanked by a turtle before. Today is a first for many, many things.
Lavini and Joe have wrangled a local tour operator to take me and my turtle out to sea. One of us won't be coming back. Although turtles are still caught and eaten here, many Tongans want them protected. If only the king would ban turtle hunting like his father did with whaling. It turns out the turtle that I've saved is the very rare loggerhead turtle.
There we go, I've just tagged my first turtle.
Woo. Yeah.
Tagged a lot of cows in my life, but never a turtle.
The tag means that should a fisherman catch it again, he must return it to the sea. Although that doesn't seem like a lot of protection.
Woo!
Yes!
Go to freedom.
Free Willy! That was a successful turtle release.
All
Yay,
right.
Joe! I catch you with my salty face, like a denizen of the deep.
I'm leaving Tonga with more questions than answers. What is the future for the royalty? How will Tonga deal with its environmental issues, and will it ever be a tourist mecca? Whatever the answers, Cook was right. These really are the Friendly Isles. Although I do wish my turtle might have been just a little bit friendlier.
Would have been just nicer to just lingered around for just a little bit. Just gave me a little look and a little wink. You know, nothing gone. I don't mind. I don't begrudge it. Freedom.
This program was made with the help of New Zealand On Air.